Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Rieger Green. Welcome to Soul Sessions. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad you're here. We are in some pretty wild and unprecedented times, and it's tricky. The energy is tricky. Our biology is tricky. Our hardwiring in our consciousness and energy field is tricky, but it's also pretty brilliant and remarkable. If you've been feeling super informed but unclear at the same time, or absolutely plugged in and connected, and then lonely and isolated, or solitary and alone, totally engaged and inspired, yet stuck and stagnant at the same time, or busy, occupied, plenty of things on your plate, but not fulfilled and nourished and whole and satiated. Awake, totally awake, but completely exhausted. I have a friend and she says, wired but tired. That's the kind of energy. You're in the right place. If you've been experiencing what I just shared with you, you're not alone, because the energy system, meaning our world, our planet, our solar system, the center of the earth, the vibrations and frequencies are shifting, they're accelerating. And our physical bodies, our minds, our emotions, and our energy system are struggling to calibrate to a new baseline. And this can look like you're growing, but you feel awkward. You are evolving in your interest, your direction in life, your social circles, people that engage you, that used to engage you and maybe no longer engage you. There's just an awkwardness to the energy you're experiencing. You're on time. You're present for what's going on. We are living through something unprecedented. And what's happening right now, and this is the way I'm experiencing it, playing with it, and navigating it, is that energy is being recycled. It's almost like energy loops keep recycling and pulling us back into older frequencies or vibrations, older narratives, storylines, resentments, thought processes, identities, ways of living and being that we've outgrown or are not valuable in the present moment. And we're attempting to orient forward or to a higher baseline, but we keep getting sucked back in. If you're feeling that, all those things I was saying is informed but unclear, connected but lonely, inspired but stuck at the same time. It's like polarity, literally pulling your energy field apart. That's what's going on in the field. And it's not happening to break us down or shatter us, but it can feel quite maddening. You know that expression, there's a fine line between genius and madness? That's what the energy field feels like right now. It can feel maddening and unpredictable and uncertain and unclear and foggy and confusing and out of reach. And then it can feel electrifying, penetrating, clear, engaged, enriched, enthusiastic, aspirational simultaneously. But if you feel like you keep getting caught and trapped in recycled energetic loops, you're feeling the field. So the question is, what do I do about this? How do I change it? How do I work with the energy? How do I grow? I hear you. I am doing this in real time with myself. One thing that I am finding that is adding value, of course, is some stillness, but that's not really the answer. And that's not what is tethering or anchoring my energy field in. What's truly helpful is being very conscious and very present to what mental or emotional loops are playing in my field, in my consciousness at any given time. The best place to become aware of this is when you are doing something autonomic. So, whatever you're doing this week, I encourage you to absolutely engage with yourself in this way. Here's what I want you to do. When you are brushing your teeth in the morning or in the evening, or if you need to brush them in the middle of the day, whenever that works for you, at least hopefully you brush your teeth twice a day. So this gives you two opportunities. But when you are brushing your teeth unconsciously, autonomically, where does your mind go? Ask yourself that. Another, like, examples of autonomic energy that you may be engaging with could be washing the dishes, doing laundry, driving with no kids in the car, nobody else, just headed somewhere you've headed 15 times, whether it's work or the grocery store or to drop something off. When you are doing something where you're actively engaged that has become autonomic or mechanical, where does your consciousness go? When you are autonomic and still, where does your mind go? So let me give you an example. I notice this most often when I brush my teeth. I will be in the morning or the evening brushing my teeth, and then my mind will immediately, not immediately, but pretty close to, in that stillness, in that baseline peaceful place, my mind will go and find something to wrestle with, to fight with. And whether it is critical type energy, whether I am all of a sudden out of the blue thinking of someone, a circumstance or scenario, and I am picking a fight and a battle and analyzing and rationalizing and justifying, that's where my still, peaceful, autonomic, quiet mind takes me. And it's fear-based, it's ego-based. But when you have space, where does your mind go to? Once you recognize, literally recognize, this energy right now is ripe for shifting brain waves and frequencies higher. Energetically, the way that you think and what you perceive, it's noticing, becoming the observer of your consciousness with absolutely no fight or judgment about. So this is not saying, "Ooh, Amanda, that's not very nice. You're so critical. You're so judgmental. Why, when you're brushing your teeth, are you taking this person's inventory?" It is not about psychoanalyzing, having a fight or a discussion with yourself. It is about pure awareness of where your consciousness goes when you are in a still, autonomic, baseline, nervous system regulated, so to speak, place. Where does your consciousness go? Now, on the flip side of that, say you're brushing your teeth and you are at that peaceful place and your still mind goes to, "It's such a lovely day. I'm thrilled about today. Wow, I'm so grateful for." If in your stillness and your baseline, that's where your consciousness goes, incredible. But I will tell you something. I am very aware of my mind and my consciousness and the telepathic activity going on. And it is very rare that at baseline, while I am brushing my teeth, that my consciousness goes to gratitude, appreciation, joy, delight. My consciousness may actually be still much more often than it goes to that frequency of appreciation and delight. So sometimes I brush my teeth and I'm just brushing my teeth. I am present in the moment, not seeking externally, not dissecting internally, just present and engaged. And to me, I'm like, that place right there is quantum. It's very rare that I notice at that baseline, my consciousness goes to joy and delight. without some sort of prompt or external stimulus. But my still quiet mind, when it does experience peace, very easily can go to inventory taking, criticism, judgment, whatever it may be. So you notice where your still quiet mind goes. And once you gather a little bit of data around that for yourself without any judgment or need to fix or change, then you can begin to take that energy and move it aside. So, what do I mean by that? When you notice you're brushing your teeth and all of a sudden you are replaying a conversation you had with your mother 2 years ago that it's pushing your button to today because somebody said something and it reminds you of it. And then all of a sudden you have this chain reaction and this old wound that is open and you're replaying the scenario and the decision and the domino effects, whatever it may be. You notice that. First of all, here's what will shift your energy field and give you a little bit of a one up. You smile, because the smiling piece actually releases some endorphins physiologically in the body that can reframe physiologically, energetically, and cognitively the perspective or the lens without you psychoanalyzing. This energy right now responds to shifting perspective and energy without psychoanalysis or playing into recycled energy loops and stories. It's more about shifting the physiological, biological field and the perspective simultaneously without needing to dig back into the wound and interpret and to let go of and to forgive. And listen, I am not bypassing the spiritual growth and healing and evolution that comes from our therapy and being able to really look at our side of the street, clean things up, ownership, making amends, letting things go, forgiveness, and our actions speaking louder than words, the way that our behaviors and our attitudes change and how we demonstrate that in relationship and with people. That is valuable stuff. That's part of humanity and our human condition. But this energy is asking for something different because the pressure, the disruption, the uncertainty that are here right now, the chaos that you may be feeling, they're not here to, it's not here to take us down. It's here to expose where our energy is still in outdated patterns or where we are leaking energy and unable to connect with our creation energy, our passion, our enrichment, and move forward. So we're at this wild recalibration point where the future is asking for new versions of us to come online. But right now, it's about being very present and quickly, not even metabolizing the energy that's coming into your field, but really almost physiologically shifting the perspective. So, as I mentioned, and the reason I'm using the brushing your teeth scenario is because a lot of things can happen while you brush your teeth. Say you notice that your quiet, still, baseline, regulated nervous system, autonomic system mind goes to that event with your mom 2 years ago and the wound that is festering somehow, way, shape, or form. You pause, you observe it, you smile, and then you actually change the hand in which you're brushing your teeth. Take it to whatever the dominant hand is and shift it to the non-dominant hand. So you're immediately starting to function and work with the right and left hemispheres of the brain. You're doing something awkward with the non-dominant hand and you finish brushing your teeth in the awkward way with the non-dominant hand. First of all, it's going to be annoying and you're going to have to smile and it's going to change your awareness and attention. and it's going to take the pressure off of the wound, the scenario, but it's physiologically and consciously going to shift your energy field. And then as you laugh and smile and become just easier, sillier, take yourself less seriously, more lighthearted, there's not only a full-blown physiological, biological, chemical reaction, there's emotional, mental, and energetic recalibration happening that's helping boost your baseline. So the answers right now aren't in deeper exploration and more information and psychoanalysis. The answers are in not only shifting your perspective, but physiologically, energetically, and biologically making a shift and then repeating that. So noticing your thoughts and when they shift, if you can physiologically, energetically, consciously make that pattern shift, remember to smile. And then also, if, like, let's say you're driving, all you have to do is cross your palms. I mean, be safe if you're driving. Don't cross your legs because you need one foot on the gas and to figure that out. But a lot of times when I'm driving and I notice some kind of pattern loop, I immediately will cross my hands. And if I go to cross the left over the right and I notice that's autonomic, then I will cross my right over my left. So there's all these little tricks of moving the hemispheres of the brain. So it's like a physiological response rather than a psychoanalytical response. And we have been, I would say, I don't know, the last 20, 25 years, there's been so much hype around therapy and psychoanalysis and digging deep into who we are and our personalities. This is putting all of that aside, and it's just using your energy, your physics, and your physiology. That's effective right now. And the repetition of that is what will create the traction. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, after your consciousness, your awareness, and putting the psychoanalysis on the shelf, that's the challenge right now. Put the psychoanalysis on the shelf and just show up and physiologically, energetically create new neural pathways and perspectives. That traction will build and give you the clarity, not only to engage with your presence and your creativity, to start attracting and magnetizing in people, places, experiences, scenarios that are firing and wiring in your cells, your DNA, your energy field, but to start organically detoxing the energetic systems that may no longer be a match to your frequency, your field, without figuring out what's the wording I need to use, what's the boundary I need to set, how do I, not have to spend time with this person. Instead of having to figure all that out mentally, just start working energetically, physiologically, and with your perspective, and let that gain traction. And this sounds almost too simple, but it's actually quite powerful. And so, yes, grounding and stillness and meditation, physically moving your body, good sleep, hydration, nutrition, all of those things are part of the larger ecosystem of your wellness. Absolutely. But what this perspective is going to do for you without diving into the psychoanalysis, it's going to help with your discernment, but it's also going to start helping with your awareness without moving into old energetic loops and moving into a higher frequency, a higher energetic baseline. And this is most of the energy of not just 2026, but moving into the future. The energy is accelerating. We're becoming more permeable. Our telepathy is higher than ever. So being able to discern our energy is becoming imperative, not only for our health and wellness, but for our sanity. So much of what I encourage you to focus on now is reclaiming your energetic and your physiological sovereignty and trusting that that will have a mental and an emotional and even spiritual impact on your experience, your being, without this pressure literally imploding on you or capsizing you. Because I know this energy can feel exhilarating and crazy making. Again, engaged but stuck, feeling like you're just kind of running in a loop and going nowhere. That's the trick of this energy, is knowing that you're actually going somewhere pretty brilliant right now. But in order to feel it, know it, trust it, engage with it, and really be in it, be content in it and around yourself, it takes presence, being very present in your energy field and engaged with where your conscious and your unconscious mind are going. Is your energy leaking into old stories or regressing into old storylines, or is it present and powerful? I'm very curious to hear what you're experiencing and what is shifting in your energy field in the months ahead. What is happening for you and what is working in terms of your energy clicking and shifting into higher frequencies? And what are you noticing physiologically? And a lot of what I'm experiencing and the feedback I'm getting is we've got a lot of restless energy. Sleep is very disrupted, ringing in the ears, headaches, physical symptoms. This is all, I think our physical bodies are detoxing a lot of dense matter. So a lot of physical symptoms are coming up for people. That part I get, but I want to know telepathically, psychically, what you're experiencing, and not what does this mean more. Oh my gosh, my dreams are becoming more clear. I'm remembering my dreams every night, and gosh, they're so boring and mundane. But man, I'm processing a lot. For me, that's happening. I'm having the most mundane dreams of just boring, frustrating day to day life and stuff. And I can just see my consciousness is processing. And I'm delighted with it. I'm not needing to psychoanalyze what did this mean in the dream. It's not about psychoanalysis or what is the meaning of this or where am I going. It's more, oh, yeah, I already thought about that. Of course, that person texted me. I just thought about them 5 minutes ago. Of course, they did. Or, oh, I saw these repeating numbers. What does that mean? No, it's like, oh, I saw the repeating numbers. Boom. Yep. My field is clear right now. It's being able to immediately trust, not need to dissect the meaning, engaging with the field differently. And then the next couple of episodes, we will dive into some telepathy and what is becoming louder and more permeable in the field and the frequency, and how to navigate that and discerning what your energy is, what other energy is, and how to work with it. But for now, you take the reins energetically in your perspective and the way in which you are engaging with your conscious and unconscious thoughts, and how you're shifting your physiology, your biology, your presence through your perspective, and not needing to dive deep, psychoanalyze, but doing it physically, physiologically, to see some traction energetically, personally, and what you're experiencing in your environment. Take care, everyone. Thanks for joining me. Be well.